Welcome to today's show of Titans Talk. I'm your host Mike McCamey, and today we are going to be grading every single draft pick that the Titans made this year at the draft. Now I know I'm a little late to it, and we're already in training camp, but that's what everyone else is covering. But here's the thing: I can grade them based off of how they've been doing in training camp, so I have somewhat of an edge. Anyway, let's just get right into it. Sorry that this took so long. I've been trying to get this to work for a long time, but anyway, let's go. All right, so first pick of the draft was Peter Skronsky. Very probably one of the lowest risk picks that we could have made because we know that he's going to be good. We just don't know how good he's going to be. We know that he will at least be a solid offensive lineman for us for the next few years, but we don't know if he's going to be a franchise offensive lineman. Now, me personally, I think he's going to be a franchise offensive lineman. I think he's going to just absolutely crush it, and he's going to do everything that he can to make this O line at least look reasonable. Reasonable, like Derrick Henry and Tannehill need some help back there. But anyway, so this kid comes out of Northwestern. Now, I know that most people would probably expect that to be like, I don't know, a Sunbelt school or something stupid like that. It's a Big Ten school. For Southerners, it's basically the Vanderbilt of the Big Ten. But, they have to play against good defensive lines in the Big Ten, like Michigan's or heck, even Iowa's. Iowa's not that good, but they have a very good defense, and it's the only reason that they've even gone bowling the past few years. But anyway, so I really like this pick because he provides us solid run blocking, but he also provides us amazing pass blocking. Now, the rumors are that he's going to start at left guard, and we're going to give Andre Dillard the left tackle position, which I absolutely love because, like these are like Skronsky's arms are just so tiny. Maybe not compared to me. Like Skronsky probably has gigantic arms compared to me, but like he's just not like wide arms for an NFL offensive lineman. So I'm really excited to see how he does in that left guard position, and I'm just kind of excited to see how the offensive line does in general. I know that that's a wild statement, but I think that they could surprise some people because Andre Dillard has been buried behind some amazing talent over these past few years. And I am very interested. I think that a few things have to happen for the O line to be good. Nicholas Petit Frere has to take a step up, and Peter Skronsky has to be good right out the gate, like immediately. And Andre Dillard needs to prove that he was always just buried behind great talent in Philly. But if those things happen, I think our offensive line can be solid and can give some room for Derrick Henry to run and some time for Tannehill to pass. Anyway, I went on a tangent, but overall, Peter Skronsky, now I get it. It's a boring pick. Okay, he's even kind of a boring dude. The Atlanta Falcons are stupid though because I heard this story that they decided not to draft him because he was just so boring, which is so stupid. Like if he's good, draft him. But anyway, um, you know, I personally think that he fits Vrabel perfectly. He's like, I know that it's corny stuff that people say about white boys all the time, but it's like, he's the first one to clock in, last to leave, all that corny stuff. But I I'm very interested to see how he does. I think that he will be solid this first year. Now, I don't think he's just going to come right out the game and be like, oh, yeah, I'm this franchise offensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I think he has the potential to be the next Jack Conklin. Oh, man, I miss Jack Conklin so much. He was just so amazing, and we should have never let him walk in free agency. One of the worst moves that John Robinson made, at least in my opinion. But anyway, um, overall, smart pick, right pick to me. I wrote an essay on why we should draft an offensive lineman. Thank goodness it's not Dennis Daly on that offensive line anymore. Smart pick, A plus. there's not that much downside to this one. Apart from that, we didn't pick a receiver. But anyway, all right, next pick. Okay, well, I got to take a deep breath for this one because this is a very controversial pick. With the next pick, we selected Will Levis. Now, with training camp bias, we have heard a lot about Will Levis. He's been very up and down. They like to highlight whenever he's been really bad, though. Like, they never highlight, like only Titan stuff highlights, oh, yeah, he's done some good things. Everyone else talks about him and, like, Paxton Lynch form. Because, like, I understand he's a controversial figure, but can we at least look at some positives? Like, he has come in and he's shown flashes, and that's all that you can ask for from a rookie. Now, I know Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, they've already came in and they've made an immediate impact. But we need to at least give him a chance. But here's the thing. I was all with everyone else whenever we first selected Will Levis. I was at a party, vibing, throwing some cornhole and playing some cornhole, and then out of nowhere, I just have one of my friends come up to me who's actually a Northwestern fan. That's how I know so much. That's why I know a little bit about Skronsky. But anyway, he walked up to me and was just like, hey, did you see that the Titans traded up? And I was thinking, yes, because I wanted Ryan Wingo at this pick because he just screamed like A.J. Brown potential to me at least. But then he walked up to me and was just like, no, they traded up for Will Levis. And I was just like, because I was at a party even on Thursday night, and I was so excited that we didn't draft Will Levis. But I was really upset that night. It didn't affect the night. It was a fun night. But anyway, it's sunk into me. I think that there is potential. He's played in the pro style offense longer than most of these guys have, and he has been a veteran presence on the Kentucky team, but I don't know. Like, he's been very inconsistent in practice. I mean, I'm not going to completely just write off the pick and think that's absolutely horrible, because I don't think it is the worst thing, because at least we didn't waste a first-round pick on him. But he's going to be the follow-up to Tannehill. That is the scary part, because, like, if he's bad, then we're going to have to wait for some other QB. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to Nico, but that's because I'm a Vols fan. But anyway, he needs to be a solid presence on the team. He doesn't even have to be amazing. He just has to be a game manager, because our defense is that good, and our run game is usually that good unless Derrick Henry retires. And we're going to have a bunch of cap space next year, so where we can sign like a pretty good amount of wide receivers that would contribute to us and do well. It's because Tannehill is going to be gone after next year. But to me, I am skeptical, I'm worried, but I have optimism. Okay, I had a kid that I walked up to after I watched the draft that night, and I told him about how optimistic I was and about how I did have some optimism around him, and he was offended that I even had the smallest bit of optimism about him. He didn't even want me to say his name. Like, he was just like, "Don't you dare even say his name in my presence." And I was just like, "Whoa, buddy. Okay." Like, people are really upset about this pick. Okay, it's the only thing that Titans fans talked about. But then they saw him. But then they had time to think about it, and they're being a little bit more optimistic about it. I am also somewhat optimistic about it, but I'm still so worried. I don't know how to feel about this pick, because, like, he could be absolutely amazing, but he could also be Jamarcus Russell bad. Okay? Because, like, the only reason I'm even optimistic is because we've seen this story work out before with Josh Allen. Mediocre, like, a quarterback that was a mediocre prospect that only like one dude believed in, and it was Mel Kiper. Same thing with Will Levis, and he didn't drop as far as Levis did, but everyone thought that he was just going to be the worst player to ever come out of that draft class. It ended up being Josh Rosen, but anyway, like we thought that he was going to be awful, but he ended up becoming amazing. So that's why I'm optimistic about the pick. Now, how do I grade it? Oh man, that is a tough grade. I'm gonna give it a B minus because he has upside, but he's been inconsistent in practice. So yeah, B minus, barely, maybe a C plus. But anyway, next pick. Before I get too much hate for my opinions on Will Levis, I was about to say C.J. Stroud. I don't know what I'm thinking, but it was Tyjae Spears was our next pick. Now I didn't. I saw this pick at the end of that said party that I was talking about. Whenever I saw us draft Will Levis, but here's the thing: I did not like it at first because it was a running back. He was a small school running back, and I thought that there was no way that this was going to be a decent pick. Then I looked at his stats. Now I know stats aren't everything, but like he carried that Tulane offense into a win against USC. Like I can't remember the stats exactly, but I think it was like 17 carries for 210 yards and 4 touchdowns or something stupid like that. Like he did help Tulane beat USC in that bowl game, which gives me optimism that he's going to be good. And this is why my grade has changed a little bit on him. He has been shining in minicamp. Like he's been the best rookie out of all of them, from what I've heard at least. I know Skronsky hasn't had that much shine because he's boring, but I'll even admit that, even though I thought it was a good pick. But like apparently Tajay has looked like that he could be the next guy in front, like the next Derrick Henry replacement. But we'll have to see how it plays out because you see, me personally, I'm a big fan of Tajay Spears after seeing some of the stuff, but he has no ACLs. Now that's a big negative about this pick because if he can stay healthy, he's probably going to be like the next great Titans running back. Like he's probably going to be like, my comparison for him in Titans history would be Chris Johnson. I would say that they have some similarities, like bit like small explosive running backs that have get away from the cop speed. Y'all remember that? But anyway, don't cancel me, please. But anyway, what it was that I was upset about this pick at first. Then I looked at it and I thought this could work out, but I gotta see if he can stay healthy or not because we know Titans fans. We all know how horrible the injury situation has been in Tennessee for a long time. Especially, like, I'm not too sure what the training staff is doing, but it's not right. But anyway, you know, as long as he can stay healthy, he's gonna be good. But like, I don't know if he's gonna be able to stay healthy. That's like something that I'm genuinely worried about because he has no ACLs. Okay, I will say though, he did actually like those that no ACL thing came out like a year or two ago, and he's been able to dominate college football. And he not dominate college football. What am I saying? He's been able to do good in college football, but uh, man, I don't know, man. Like he has better receiving potential than Derrick Henry, and he's probably going to end up being the running back too this year. Obviously behind Derrick Henry, because unless something wild happened, unless the stars aligned and the next solar eclipse happened and Jesus came back in the same day, yeah, there's no way that Tajay Spears is starting over Derrick Henry. But you know, I I do like the pick overall, especially with the reports I've seen about Tajay Spears. Like, I think that this is going to end up being just fine, but if I'm being honest, I think he's not going to be as durable as Derrick Henry has been. He's probably going to be like like 3 to 6 year running back, and then we dump him off and go after another one in the next few years. I don't know who it would be, but that's that would be my prediction for how it's going to go down. So overall, I think the pick is an A minus. I know, bold, but especially for someone who's going to be a second stringer this year. But he's just looked so good in practice that I have to give him his respect. Anyway, next pick. Next pick. Okay, now this is the area where I don't have that much to say about any of these next few guys. So it's just kind of a rapid fire type of thing. All right, next pick. Oh, man, I did not like this pick at all. It was Josh Wiley. Okay, now I'm not too sure if this was more against Josh Wiley. It was more against the idea of drafting a tight end because Chig is going to be a beast next year. I'm calling it. He's going to break out and he's going to do very good for the Titans, to me at least. And man, I don't think it was a good pick at all, especially. And the other thing was that Henry To'oTo'o was still on the board, and I was so excited because we got to that pick, and I was just like, To'oTo'o, he would be a guy that would fit with the Titans, and he would be like this, he would be a good linebacker for us to transition out of the David Long Jr. era. But no, we drafted Josh Wiley, which was really upsetting. The only thing that I will say is that he had a better career as a tight end than Travis Kelce at Cincinnati, which is the only optimistic part of this whole thing. But anyway, I don't like the pick. I just don't think that it was a good fit. We could have also drafted like a receiver. Like that would have been nice, but I don't like the pick. It was such a downer, especially because of how the first 2 days went after I let it sink in. But I'm gonna give it a D plus. This is the worst pick out of the whole draft. Just a spoiler alert, because I don't know. Because the next two, like one of them, I actually really like, and I think was a good pick at the spot that we got him at. But the other one, I have no clue how to look at him. And if you know the Titans draft class by now, you know which one I'm talking about. But anyway, next pick, Jalen Duncan. Now, I'm not too sure if most people will agree with me on this, but I actually really like this pick. I think that it was this. I think that it was a steal because people thought he was going to go in like the third or the fourth, and we got him in the sixth. Like that is ridiculous value, and we're going to be able to develop him over the next few years. And if we can develop him correctly, he could be a very good starting offensive lineman. Now, negative reports, he doesn't have the best work ethic. He's all upside and almost, and his floor is basically just a bunker. Like, but man, I I am interested in this pick, but I gotta see it pan out before I say anything about it. So overall, I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna grade it better than the Will Levis pick because I'm just not too sure about Will Levis after hearing reports in training camp. But yeah, I think that a B is the right pick, especially with the value that we got him at. But anyway, the next and the final and the very last pick, Colton Dowell. Now, this was the guy I was talking about earlier, for anyone who didn't hint in. Now, I have no clue how to grade because he was a UT Martin receiver. I don't think anyone had him going drafted because of where he's from. But, I did some research on this guy. I looked at all the big games because I looked at all the cupcake games for other teams against UT Martin because, we all know that, like, those other, like, FCS games were not going to show how good he actually was. But he had, like, I don't care that UT secondary was garbage last year. He had 4 receptions for 112 yards on an SEC school. That's impressive. And he also had a touchdown in both of the other games in Kennesaw State and Boise State. So I still have no clue how to grade this draft pick. At best, I think he can be a receiver 3, maybe a receiver 2 for this Titans receiver core because we all know that's not that good. But, but I think that his floor is probably a special teams player because I've heard that he's a good special teams player. But I'm gonna give it a C plus because actually no, I'm gonna give it a C because it's right in the middle of no clue how to grade him and being a great player. and being a high upside good player. But anyway, so overall grade for the draft. Now, I know that I've had D plus. I know I've had D pluses, C's, B minuses, but overall, I'm gonna give the draft a B plus. If we would have had Henry To'oTo'o with that fourth round pick, I believe it was, no, fifth round pick, I would have given it a. I would have given it an A minus, and if we're including undrafted free agents, I'm giving it an A minus because Trey Wolf, who is going to be our new kicker, looks really good in training camp so far, at least. So I am interested to see how this draft goes. This was not a draft that was meant to impact this year. It's supposed to impact the next few years for the Titans. I think Rand Carthen did good with his first draft. I just don't think that he ascended to that level that some GMs are at right now. So that about wraps up today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Keep talking Titans. Tighten up.